Greetings, my loves. So, I am Adrienne Nicole, and I am an ancestral advisor. I assist people with getting in contact with their ancestors, learning how to communicate with their ancestors so that they're able to heal from past traumas and abuse that has occurred in their lives. So people come to me and we sit in ceremony and we write down the things that we want to release and we write down the things that we want to receive. So I've been healing my trauma for the last 14 years. So now I'm assisting others because I found so many different, unique ways that assist awesomely. So first we're going to clear the energy a little bit. Because right now we're under that beautiful full moon energy in Cancer. So it's time to really clear our spaces, cleanse our area, and just release everything that's holding us back from being our best selves. So I lit a little sage and I got a little Palo Santo right here to bring in the creative vibes. And I also have a frankincense and myrrh candle lit to bring in the ancestors. Because without the ancestors, there would be no us. So, recently, after clearing and healing my trauma for the past 14 years, I had a very traumatic incident happen to me, and it left me with a brain injury. A couple came to me and they had wanted to sit with me, and originally I wasn't really feeling the vibe. So I had rescheduled this ceremony twice. And so the third time I was like, look, I can't be flaky with this. Everybody deserves to feel pure, true, unconditional love. So I have to sit with this. Even though my intuition, the ancestors were telling me not to, I was like, man, people deserve to feel pure, true, unconditional love and bliss and know what it's like to truly be loved and feel like that beautiful, green, healing heart chakra energy coming from my heart because I was overflowing and I needed to share it. I just love loving on people, and I have a very mothering, nurturing spirit that I just like to share that with everyone I come in contact with. So, on September 26th, the couple came. To make a long story short, because I'm going to explain in more detail in a later video, the husband was under demonic possession. And it got to the point where he had experienced so much abuse and so much trauma in his past, he wasn't ready to release. Normally, when people come to me, that's the goal. That's the mission. They're here to release so they can die away those parts of themselves and be reborn new. So he wasn't ready to release. And I mean, it's difficult for a lot of us to release because we don't know what's on the other side of that trauma and abuse. It's just like a sick cycle that's just holding us down and holding on to us and preventing us from being our best selves. And we don't know what to do when we're freed of all these things. So it's kind of scary for some people. And, I have compassion for this brother because I was under demonic possession at one time in my life also. And it took me almost 10 years to finally release those demons so that I can just be sitting in bliss and unconditional love. So at one point in the ceremony, he started to attack me. And it just got to a point where he could only get power outside. So he ran outside and he came back in and he was like, F this B, I'm going to kill you. And in that moment, I had no fear because I knew the ancestors were with me. I knew the universe was protecting me. So I had no fear at all at any point in this. And he ripped my clothes off and he strangled me and brutally beat me with a selenite wand that I had here in the sanctuary. And I was looking to the left of me and I seen the frog's eyes, and that was the last thing that I seen. And the only thing that I could do in that moment, because the pain was like, it was so intense. It was the worst pain I've ever felt in my life. I mean, I knew that I couldn't pull his arms off of me because he was like, it was superhuman strength. It was a demon that was attacking me. It wasn't the man, because at one point he was saying that he didn't want to hurt me. And so the demon took over and he just strangled me, and then he was just like beating me continuously in my face, like really, really hard, and beating me continually in my head until it got to the point that it was so painful and the blood was just pouring out of my body and all over me. And I just had to say, I surrender into this death. And in that moment, I was knocked unconscious. And I went through a spiritual death. And I went into a place where it was bliss and it was love, and I wanted to stay there. And I was reminded that I wasn't finished with my mission here on earth. So when I came back to, I did my best to break free, and then he gripped onto my thumb and he started biting my thumb, and he bit it until he got into the bone, and he was attempting to rip my thumb off. And then finally I got free, and I ran out the house, and I went to the neighbor's house, and I got the neighbor. I said, look, you got to go save my daughter. You got to go save my daughter. And he came back to the house, and he had kicked in my daughter's door and pushed her through the window and attacked her. And then the neighbor came and saved her and brought her over to me. But my reason today for telling my story is because our voices need to be heard. We have to speak about this trauma and abuse that we've suffered, because this man, he was abused and traumatized as a child. And a child is innocent, and a child just wants to be loved and share that love. And there's so many of us that are holding on to past traumas and past abuse that has occurred to us during childhood, and it's causing us to have anxiety issues, it's causing us to be depressed, it's causing us to go through these post-traumatic stress disorder issues also. Because of my incident, I acquired a brain injury. They wanted to do surgery because my brain was bleeding. So, I was talking to the doctor, and I was saying that I'm still going through all this excruciating pain. And the doctor said, well, the pain is in your head. So it's like even the doctors want us to think that we're crazy, and they just want to perpetuate these cycles of abuse so that they can medicate us, and numb us down, and we never really get a chance to release these things and really heal from them. But we got to speak out about what's going on internally. We got to tell the truth about what we're dealing with inside. We can't keep holding on to this baggage and allowing it to hold us back from being who we are truly meant to be in this lifetime. I suffered a lot of sexual trauma, a lot of physical abuse as a child. I was molested, I was raped, I was verbally abused. And it took a long time for me to finally get over those things and deal with it. I mean, I abused drugs, I abused alcohol, I abused sex, I abused everything. I even, when my daughter was younger, would abuse her because it was a sick cycle that was taught to me. This was a learned behavior. Like, I would never want to hit a child or talk down to a child. Right now in life, I just want to encourage people and empower them and just give them that pure, true love that they wasn't ever given. Because our parents were abused, our grandparents were abused, and their great-grandparents were abused. In the Bible it says, spare the rod, spare the child. So we think that it's all right to beat on our children or spank our children, But all that does is show them that the person that loves them the most also is the person that brings them the most pain. And most parents, they beat you and they talk down to you, and then they tell you I love you, and then they give you a hug, and then they give you a kiss, and they act like everything's all right, you know. This man revealed to me that he was going through a lot of abuse and trauma that he suffered, you know. And so when a man goes through that and he's taught those things, the only thing he can do is abuse the people that he loves most. During the ceremony, he was abusing his wife in front of me and my daughter. But that's learned behavior. It's time, like, to break these cycles. We can't go on abusing each other and thinking that's a form of love, because that's the only form of love that we were taught. Because then, like, a huge traumatic experience occurs like this, and it's difficult to recover from this. I mean, since this incident happened, I've been having panic attacks, I've been depressed, I've been anxious, I've been scared of my own shadow. You know, I've been scared to go in my kitchen at night. I've been scared to use the restroom or get out of my bed. And that incident happened right here in my house, and a part of it occurred in my backyard. So every time I'm going in the backyard, I'm like looking around, you know, because that's where it started at. And those memories are just being replayed in my head constantly. So I've been having a difficult time, so I want to assist others with getting over their trauma by showing them real time how I'm getting over mine. Because before, I was in a point where I was in this state of bliss, in this state of unconditional love, you know. Even though this is a never-ending healing journey, I was at a very secure place in my healing journey that I know that it goes on and it continues, but I was just like leveling up and experiencing new levels of healing that I never thought were possible. So it was a great journey, and I'm thankful for where I am today, because now it's more relatable. Because a lot of people might be going through panic attacks and they're not talking about it. I was having these panic attacks and I was scared to tell anybody. So when I would start panicking and it would be difficult for me to breathe if I was around people, I would just hurry up and run out the room so no one would see me like that. Because people are so used to me being like this solid, secure person that they can come to and just release all their trauma onto, and all their abuse and everything that they're going through. And I was always able to just handle it and be solid, and I always had an answer, I always had some advice, always had a way to show them to get through this. And now that I'm going through it myself, I want to show others how I'm healing myself from this trauma right now. Because every day is a challenge. Every day is a struggle for me. You know, I'm not a victim in this, I'm a victor. I'm thankful that this experience happened to me, because this is like allowing me to be vulnerable in a way that I've never been vulnerable before. And I'm just more open to share my experiences from the past that led me to this moment, so that I'm able to get over it a lot sooner and a lot better than I would have if I had to start from scratch again. Because it took me almost 10 years to get over all the trauma that I suffered through childhood. So I've been, you know, eating raw, fasting, meditating, saying positive affirmations, doing gratitude journaling, listening to music that contain positive affirmations in it. Also listening to binaural beats and just being out in nature, getting some sunshine, getting some fresh air. You know, I'm in Florida, so I have the opportunity of going to the beach and healing and releasing there, which is a great tool also. But even if you don't have the beach, just getting out in nature, hugging a tree, like walking barefoot and grounding in the grass. If there's no grass, ground on the concrete, ground on the sidewalk. do what you can to connect with the energy of Mother Earth, because Mother Earth is shifting. And she wants us all to heal right now and break these cycles of abuse so that we don't have any more traumatized children growing up holding on to that. Men are taught to just man up and be a man. But I want to speak for the voiceless. I want to speak for the abused women out there. I want to speak for the abused children out there. Because an injustice to one is an injustice to us all. We're all in this together. Right now, Mother Earth has shifted to a unity consciousness. So we got to come together. And we got to open up together. And we have to release together. And we have to speak out and get these things out of us. Because that's how we heal. And by sharing our stories, even if it's just one person that hears it, and now they want to open up and share their story, our mission is complete. Because at the end of the day, we're doing what's best for ourselves first. And that's what's most important, is doing what's best for ourselves first. And we're more alike than we are different. So when we're doing what's best for ourselves, it's what's best for the community and the collective as a whole. And we can't have men out there abusing women, especially people who are just wanting to love them, and have these traumatic experiences keep occurring. Because the more I talk about my experience, the more I get to hear others' experiences. And a lot of people are going through the same thing at the same time. It's time for us to heal. It's time for us to release. It's time for us to let go. And we can start by writing it down. If you can't bring your voice to say it, write it down. Because writing it down makes it real. Write down that I release the sexual trauma. Write down that you release the abuse from your childhood. Write down that you release anxiety. Write down that you release depression. Write down that you release PTSD. And guess what? It's not going to happen overnight. But eventually, as you continue to practice and progress in your healing, it's going to make a difference. So we have to unite. And we have to come together on this universally. I'm sure everyone out there has went through a traumatic experience that they need to get off their chest. No matter if it was in childhood, no matter if it was in a relationship, no matter if it was caused by a stranger. We got to release these things. We got to let go. And it's a perfect time right now under this Cancer moon. Perfect time to release and rebirth and start our healing journey in a more progressive way. If something like this has happened to you, or you have a traumatic experience that you need to let go, feel free to leave it in the comments. Feel free to release it and let it go in the best way that makes you feel the best. Everybody is different. Everybody is unique. But we're all one. And we got to start somewhere. And there's no better time to start than right now. I love you all. Share this. Comment. Subscribe. Because this incident has drained me mentally, physically, emotionally, and financially. Because one thing about me, when I'm not feeling my best, I'm not about to sit down with somebody else to assist them. I got to do what's most beneficial for me first. So I haven't been able to sit in ceremony with anybody. I haven't been able to serve my purpose here. I haven't been able to fulfill my mission because that was taken away from me in that moment because I didn't listen to the guidance from the ancestors. I'm not here to blame anybody. I'm not the victim in this. I'm the victor in this because I'm going to win. The doctors told me that I'm never going to be the same again. And you know what? That hit me hard. I'm like, dag, I had to learn how to eat all over again. I had to learn how to formulate sentences all over again. I couldn't remember things from my past. I couldn't remember the things that I did yesterday. I didn't know if I was alive at one point. I thought maybe I was an ancestor and people was communicating with me in the spirit realm. I was so confused. And guess what? Some days I'm still confused. I still don't have it all together. But I'm doing the best that I can. And you know what? I'm not going to be the same. Because I'm going to be better. Every day, in every way, we all get better and better. We have to release to receive. We have to let go so that the abundance can flow to and through us effortlessly. We can't allow abused adults who were abused children to keep abusing more adults and children. The cycle stops here. If you or anyone else you know has been through a traumatic experience, has suffered abuse or trauma, share this video with them. Because it's time that we all shared our stories and we all united in our healing. Thank you for listening. Thank you for watching. I love you all.